Welcome to another episode of Behind the Bar podcast, brought to you by the coaches and clients of RT Fitness Durham, Sunderland, and of course the Barbell Club and the Barbell Club Online, where we can take you from complete beginner to photo shoot level results. So on today's episode, we have Mr. Paul Mort. Now, Paul Mort is an author, a multiple business owner, a business and mindset coach. He does it all. He lives by the sword. Everything what he teaches, he does in his life. Absolutely top bloke. And today we are talking about like the mindset hints and tips on why getting in shape will help you in every other aspect of your life. Really, really good episode. And yeah, as always, just enjoy the show. If you can, give us a share, a like. Comments are one of the best things we like to see because then we can keep moving this forward. So yes, enjoy the show, everybody.
Right then, in 60 seconds, who the fuck is Paul Mort?
Paul Mort is a dad, husband, serial business owner. There you go.
That it?
There you go. Dad, business owner, husband, and I do a load of other shit as well, which I'm sure we'll get into.
I knew you'd have.
Do you know what I like to say? I like to say like where I'm at right now, because the background we'll get into, the how I got here we'll get into, but that's me right now. Dad, husband, serial business owner. That's how I identify.
I knew you'd have it nailed. I did. I actually knew. But obviously a quick story, right? To blow a bit of smoke up your ass as well. What was your fitness business podcast called again?
It was just called the Paul Mort podcast. The one where you had Gary V on and that. 2014 I had Gary V on.
2014.
2014, aye.
So then I remember saying to Sarah at the time, so it was about 10 years ago, I says, give us a year and I'll be on your podcast.
Oh shit, well that's mad. Shit, that's mad. Well, do you know what, mate?
10 years time, but hey.
10 years time, and do you know what's mad about that? I've had multiple different versions of podcasts. Like I had that one, I had that because 2014 wasn't a great time for me, and then I think I started another one for a little bit where I'd have a couple of guests come on.
Daily
and then
Diesel?
Daily D's fucking hell, mate. I then started another one I did daily, that was like 7-8 minutes every day. I enjoyed that one actually. And then I started obviously my big one, which is Paul Mort Talk Shit, and I jumped in and out. Even now I'll probably do a podcast every 6 weeks or something. It's hard to stay consistent on it, man.
It is probably when we're probably sort of after a return on podcasts as well, and it's invisible.
It is invisible. Well, that's what I'm saying. I've been saying that to all the guys. You don't know who's listening.
Yeah.
And sometimes people love your podcast but don't leave a review.
Yeah.
They love your podcast but don't leave a comment. People that don't like it are very easy. They're very good at coming forward. But yeah, man, it is an invisible metric, innit? You get your downloads and that, but then I think we can also be guilty of comparing ourselves to people who do it full time. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm friends with Chris Williamson. I'm friends with Chris Ramsey, who has the biggest podcast in Europe, right? And I'll piss around with a podcast. I'll do like an hour every 2 weeks on it, and I get caught in the trap of comparing my progress in a podcast to people who it's their only thing. It's mad, that, isn't it?
Especially where it's their only thing.
Aye.
Like, especially for you, who knows fucking this as well.
Aye. And I still do it. And you probably get clients like that as well, like people who are busier, like they're probably 50 with 3 kids, a business, and then they're comparing where they're at to someone who's like 18 and drives a mum's Corsa.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It happens all the time. It happens all the time. Comparison's such a weird thing. We were saying at the weekend, I was competing jiu-jitsu the weekend, and my friend Andy said, Paul, you're a 45-year-old bloke. Do you honestly think anyone else that's competing who's 45 and has a business and 2 kids and like staff and hundreds of clients and that, do you honestly think anyone's doing like a weight cut? And I was like, no. Drinking 8 litres of water for 3 days in a row and then drinking none for like 24 hours. I was like, no, you're right. The comparison game can be savage, man.
But in that respect, you're wanting to
be inspired.
Be a bit of an athlete, innit? You want to take it serious as well.
Of course, it's a fine balance, because I also think, you know what, comparison gets a bad rap. But I'm like, that's what being inspired by someone is as well. Like, rather than thinking, oh, well, why can't I do that? And I'm this and I'm that. And you're almost like, if you think about when you're inspired by other people, you're inspired because you compare where they're at to where you want to be. Do you know what I mean? It's a slightly different question.
Yeah. I knew you'd go off.
Am I still answering the 60-second question?
Yeah. No, it's mint. It's mint. Love it. Do you actually remember coming to our Durham gym?
Oh, with Ben Coomber.
In Lane Norton, yeah.
Shit, man.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
That was same year, 2014.
Holy
15,
shit.
Yeah.
Aye, wow.
Yeah.
I forgot Lane Norton was there.
Yeah.
I remember Ben was there, but I forgot Lane Norton was there. That's wild.
Yeah.
Because he's the original, like, if it fits your macros.
Yeah.
Remember what it was called, that?
Yes, yeah.
And now it's just called
IFYM.
Now it's just called dieting, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
Tracking.
mad, that.
Tracking.
It was called if it fit your macros, and then it was called flexible dieting.
That's right.
And now it's called just a diet or calorie deficit, innit? It's wild, that.
Before your time, Matty. IFYM.
If it fits your
It is.
macros, man. Wow.
But yeah, that was. I remember you coming up in you had like an Aldi bag full of sarnies or something like that.
I was probably a fat
box.
cunt.
Yeah.
I'd have been a fat cunt. Aye. 2014, I would probably had a line of coke before I came in as well.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, me life. 2014 was the worst year of my life by a country mile.
Flip that over though. If it wasn't for that, you wouldn't be where you are now.
Oh, I don't know what I'd be doing. I don't know what I'd be doing. I get asked this question fairly often. Like, what would you be doing? Would you have jumped off the cliff? And I'm like, I don't know. But you're right, mate. That year was the hardest year of my life, but also led me down the path where I'm at now, which is a bit mental. It is a bit mental, like what I'm doing right now. Yeah. I didn't design it. You know, like, oh, you had this. I didn't have the dream of doing it. I didn't design, had no idea of doing it, had no desire to do it. I just, and my speaking coach hates it when I say this because he's like, you shouldn't say it, but I'm just going to say it anyway. I stumbled into it. Like, I fell into what I'm doing right now I was going to say by chance, but it's not by chance because, like you say, that moment in my life, that year of my life led to the transformation and people have just came along for the ride with me.
Yeah.
Aye. And you've seen the whole thing?
Yeah. And if you think, well, I've followed you well before that, probably. Yeah.
Well, I was the bootcamp king in 2012.
Well, because I even heard of it then.
Did you?
Like, yeah, when you were doing the franchises, like.
Aye, with Chris.
Yeah,
with Chris.
Yeah, and sure, Katie Bullman, was she part
Katie
of your
Bullman was, she worked for me, aye.
Yeah, so it's like I heard of it all back then, so I've followed your story pretty much all the way through it.
Aye. I like it when that happens, you know. Anyone that's seen the whole thing, because there are obviously people coming into the game with me now and people joining where I'm at right now who kind of know about it, but telling someone about it versus someone that's fucking seen the entire thing is quite weird because I don't have to tell you about it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't have to say, well, this happened and this happened. You've seen the entire thing unfold.
Yeah, because it's like, well, Matty's here with us, but it's like where he asks, like, what have you done through it? And it's like, well, start out as a person trainer, did this, and then went through this.
Then when someone knows, it's mad, aye.
Well, you've documented it all.
Mate, I have documented it all. I'm so glad I did because I wouldn't have, you know what it is? I wouldn't have been able to remember half of it. Yeah. There are even things come up now where, I was drunk, or I was either pissed or full of sniff or both. And I've done podcasts with Chris Brown, who we just mentioned, and Chris will be like, remember when you did this? And I was like, no. So that period of my life was so dark that it's just quite a lot of it's a blur. So sometimes, I love that. Do you know when your Facebook memories come up and they're fucking cringeworthy into some of them? Like, you used to say...
Mine got deleted before the cringe stuff. Yeah. When I moved to personal training, I deleted
really,
that
did you?
Yeah,
It'll say like... Because it used to say Paul Mort is... And then you'd fill in the blanks. And mate, some of them I'm like, Jesus Christ. But at the same time, some of them I'd have documented how I was feeling or something that happened. I'd be like, wow, I'm glad I documented that because I cannot remember that period. Yeah, it's wild.
I mean, you could probably just look back through all your emails, what you've wrote, because you're writing about yourself in those. If you go back to those 2014, 15 emails of what you've wrote, you'd be thinking, fuck.
It's weird, you know. I think I've only been journaling since 2019, but I probably haven't. I probably have my own version of journaling because I find that still quite cathartic. Like writing emails about, I wrote one yesterday about losing again at jiu-jitsu at the weekend. I've lost every match. Every match I've had in jiu-jitsu, I've lost. And people are like, why do you still keep going? I'm just like, the people are like, why do you still keep going? In fact, my old coach asked me that at the weekend. I seen him there and he was like, why are you doing this? I was like, I hate it. He was like, what? I was like, well, I hate it. That's why I'm doing it. Because every time I do it, I'm presuming, and it has happened, it did happen at the week, I'm going to hate it a little bit less. Because it's weird, you know, I love jiu-jitsu. Love it. I don't need any more. I don't know if you've heard me mention it before, but I love jiu-jitsu. I don't need motivation to do it. I don't need incentivized. I don't need accountability to do it. I'll just do it, and I'll do it even if I'm sick. And you're not supposed to because you get the other person sick. But I don't. But I hate competing. I hate the competition.
I was just about to say, so why compete?
I've just got an itch. I've got an itch. I hate it, and I'm like, whenever I'm challenged by something like that, and it's hard, but I love the sport. I'm like, there's only one way to get better at it. That's by doing it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? When I first started jiu-jitsu, I hated sparring because it's the gassiest thing you can ever do. Yeah. It's the gassiest thing. It's the hardest cardio you'll ever do, having another man trying to strangle you whilst you're trying to strangle him for 5 minutes without a rest. Like the rounds are 6 minutes really, 5 rounds in for an old guy competition. But that's the hardest cardio you'll ever do. And when I first started, I hated it. And I was like, well, I quite enjoyed this part of it, the social side of it. I love the fact that I was doing cardio but wasn't like running or on a treadmill or something. And I fell in love with it. But like I say, I hated it when I first started sparring. I hate competing. But every time I've done it, even though I've lost, I've done a tiny little bit better. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's, for me, so and sometimes, just showing up is a huge win. Like getting on them mats with hundreds of people watching to have a fight with someone, that's a win in itself. Yeah. It's fucking mental when you think about it.
Do you like the stage though?
No, that's the bit that I hate. That's okay. So when it comes to jiu-jitsu, that's the bit that I hate. So I love being on stage, but I can't talk my way through a jiu-jitsu match, can I? I can talk my way through anything. I can talk my way through anything. I can talk my way out of anything, but I can't talk my way to win in jiu-jitsu, which is quite cool. But the bit that I hate is people watching. And then I had a coach. I hired a coach last year, Vinny Shawman. Vinny's been on like Joe Rogan and that. He's class. And people are like, why do you have a mindset coach? I'm like, well, he's kind of a fight mindset coach. How to get your head around this concept of why do I freeze in a sport that I love, that I think I'm all right at? Why do I freeze in that situation? And he said to me, we did 6 sessions. He waited till the 6th session. He said, Paul, I've wanted to tell you this since day one. He said, but I wanted to get a little bit deeper first. He said, no one cares. I said, what are you on about? He's like, no one gives a fuck whether you win or lose at jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
He said, 99.9% of the population don't know what it is. For a start. He said, and the people that do know what it is are too busy, and I should know this because I would teach that in business, I would teach that anywhere else, but it just feels different because it's not something that I consider myself an expert in. And then this weekend, mate, I said to Leslie last night, my wife, I said, you know what's mad? I know that no one cares, but this weekend I competed on Saturday. I didn't post a single picture because I forgot to take any. I didn't post a single video because I forgot to tell someone to take a video. And no one's asked me how I did. Like, right, I'm not offended by that. I'm like, it was proven that no one gives a fucking shit about my jiu-jitsu. And I was like, and I'm competing again in 3 weeks. Right.
Are you going to tell people?
Didn't I? I told people about this one.
All right, okay.
I told people about it and still no one asked us how I did.
Oh, we're waiting for messages.
That's bad. The only person that did was me PT, but I see him twice a week anyway, and it's part of his job to make me feel strong. So I was like, isn't that interesting? Because this theory, right? Yeah. This theory, no one cares, but then actually it was proven completely right. No one gives a fuck whether I win or lose, which is just more evidence that like what we're saying and what we're teaching and that this whole thing's true. And I was buzzing last night.
Mad, isn't it? Well, I'm on to question 2.
Mate, these are the best conversations when you talk about random stuff, because I'm doing a lot of podcast interview for the books at the minute, right? And I'm just getting asked the same questions all the time.
Right, okay.
So when we mix it up like this, it's all good. Mint. It's all good.
Well, let's see if I can mix it up enough.
All right.
Because obviously our audience is like people looking to get in shape, get to the gym, understand how simple it is.
Yes.
You used to be a personal trainer yourself.
I did. And I made it complicated.
Yeah. And I believe it all comes down to mindset and habits.
Yes.
And one of the most common phrases I tell my clients is do what you said you would do.
Yeah, buddy, yeah.
From you. Obviously, I got that from you.
Yeah, I think I stole it from someone else anyway.
Oh, did you?
I think I did. In fact, I know exactly who I stole it from. I stole it from a guy called Satema Gali. Satema is a friend of mine, and he's won the Super Bowl.
Right, okay.
And he looks like The Rock, and he's bigger than The Rock. So if he's saying it, I'm going to fucking listen to him. And he said it, and I was like, Jesus Christ, that is fucking dynamite. And I don't even think he's ever said it again. Like he said it to me once, and it hasn't become a phrase of his. So I was like, I'll fucking take it. Yeah. Do I said you would do huge, but mate, you're right about keeping it simple. And I think the problem with it being simple is that you can't have an excuse. Because you can't tell that, it's too complicated, I'm confused, because it's basic as fuck.
Yeah.
In fact, I did a video last week, and it wasn't about weight loss, it was about this concept of you don't need to do all of the things. Like everyone's like...
And the sweets one? Did you have the sweets?
No, it was similar to that. Right, I had a board, and it was a picture of a stick thing and then all these dots.
Yes.
And everyone's like, you have to take supplements, you have to start your sleep, you have to get up early, you have to do your stretching when you get up, you have to do your mobility, you have to do your 10,000 steps a day, you have to lift, you have to do TRT, you have to have ice baths, you have all these things that you could possibly do. And someone said, Paul, how did you get into that shape that you got into before Christmas? I was like, well, I did some of that other stuff, but I was like, right, if I do 4 jiu-jitsu sessions a week, if I stick to 2,000 calories, and if I hit me 4 litres of water a day, if I don't do any of that stuff, it doesn't fucking matter. Because I'm not going to force me. I've tried my entire adult life to get 8 hours sleep a night. It's not fucking happening for me. So I just accept that 6 is great for me. Yeah. 6 is great for me. I'm not staying up late. I'm just not an amazing sleeper. So I do 6. I hit a 20-minute nap. I don't worry about all the other shit. Because that's when it can get overwhelming. But really, that overwhelming thing's just an excuse. That stuff's nice and it probably all works, but it's not necessary. Find a type of exercise that you like doing is huge, by the way, I think. Yeah. Like if I'm constantly doing shit that I hate, I'm going to give up. If I'm constantly doing shit that I hate, I'm going to need willpower, which runs out. So I think once you find a type of exercise or an environment which you think's massive, I think that's part of the reason I love jiu-jitsu, because of the group stuff, that you guys have, the banter, the camaraderie, the shared mission, the shared goals, the shared habits. Like that's massive for me. So I think for me, keeping it simple is amazing, but can also be a problem for people because they don't realize that simple is also powerful. Do you know what I mean? They think because it's not new, because it's not sexy, is it simple? Simple and sexy are the two polar opposites, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? 100%. Simple and sexy are the two polar opposites, which is why actually I think we talked about if it fits your macros. That's probably why it became popular, because it had a cool name. Do you know what I mean? It had a really cool name.
It was a label attached to a diet again, wasn't it?
It was a label attached to a calorie deficit, and then I believe James Smith made calorie deficit cool.
Yep.
Like he's the one that brought it. I believe anyway. Lane was the first person I heard say it. Then my friend Mike Samuels wrote an amazing article about it that changed my life. Actually, Mike wrote something.
I remember
Mike wrote an article.
Is he an email writer now?
Copyright. And he runs fucking 100-mile marathons and shit. Well. Has he? Yeah. Mike's a fucking great guy, and he wrote an article. And I always tell him that it changed my life. It must have been 2014, 2015, and it was something like how I got fat eating clean. Remember that movement?
I remember exactly.
And got shredded eating Haribo, Pringles, and pizza or something. Yeah. And I read that article, and I've never read anything that's changed so much, made so much sense, and that sent me on a journey. And then I lost 5 stone.
Fat eating paleo. Was it paleo?
Something like that.
Yeah, I remember.
Either paleo or eating clean, and it was a world-class article, and it changed me fucking life. But like I say, that whole movement became popular, and then Smith, obviously, he blew up, brought this calorie deficit to the masses. Yet people are still looking for fads. Isn't it mad? Well, I'm doing fucking, what's the caveman thing called again?
Primal? No,
not that one. The carnivore.
Carnivore.
They're doing the carnivore. They're doing keto. They're doing all that kind of shit because they're looking for something that's more complex than a calorie deficit.
That's always going to happen. Or until somebody else brings something new along and they're like, oh, I'm on that bandwagon.
And do you know what? I quite like novel. Like, I need to find different ways of doing shit. So sometimes I go through periods where I'm like, do you know what? I'm going to skip breakfast. Right. And just eat. When I'm on holiday, I either skip breakfast or I skip lunch because then I can eat what I want. Not eat what I want, but I can eat what I want the rest of the time. So I go through these little fads as well.
That's what I do. That trip on holiday as well.
I do.
Yeah. I'll have a big breakfast and then skip lunch.
Skip lunch, because it's always shite.
Yeah.
And if I'm at an all inclusive or a buffet, that's fucking. Yeah. That's not great news for me. Like, that's not great. I prefer an a la carte because then I can have a main course and a dessert, whatever I want, and I can't just keep fucking going back.
Yep. Aye. I'm definitely the same on that one. Right then. So
what was the question on that one, by the way?
It was just do what you said you would do.
Do what I said you would. And do you know what I think is important as well? Don't say you're going to do shit that you're not. Like, I think that's a big thing. I don't do every single thing I say I'm going to do because I might change my mind. Do you know what I mean? I might change my mind. So I'm very careful about what I say I'm going to do now.
Your commitments.
I am just very careful. I'm very like, if I say yes to this, I'm fucked. Yeah. Because I'm the guy that does what he said he would. So I'm a bit more, I'm not going to say yes to loads. That was the video, you know the video you're talking about with the Haribo and that and the sweets?
Yes, yeah.
That was the one where I was like, I've got to be careful what I say yes to. A, because I'm busy as fuck. B, because if I'm known as a do what you said you would do guy, I've got to do what I said I would.
Yeah.
Which means I've got to be a little bit more wary about what I say I'm going to do.
it's one of the biggest things I do. So when, say, nutrition check-ins or anything like that, say the week before they've said, okay, well, this week I'm going to hit me 10,000 steps, I'm going to hit 4 sessions.
Yes.
Then the next week I'll look, they haven't.
Yeah.
It's like, do what you said you would do.
Yeah.
And honestly, I get nothing back.
Yeah. Yeah, of course you don't.
Because then I'll do your techniques as well, where it's the yes and no technique.
Yes.
Did you do the work?
Yes and no. Yeah.
You know
And sometimes it's worth asking, are you just saying you're committed to it, or are you really committed to it? Yes or no? Because some people say they're going to do it, and it's not that they're deliberately breaking promises. Sometimes they're just unorganized, or they forget what they said they would do.
Yeah.
They forget that they've said it.
What you just said there.
So
did you say that?
It's not that they don't mean to do it.
Yeah.
It's sometimes that they forget.
Yeah.
They forget they've said they're going to do it, and then they're chronically disorganized on top of it. So they say they're going to do it, but then it just stays here, or what they've said to you, and it doesn't go in their schedule.
And what was the question you'd said to ask them though?
Oh, are you just saying you're going to do it?
Yeah.
Or are you really committed to doing it? Yes or no?
Right. That one.
And I think that sometimes I heard Alex Hormozy say this actually. I don't listen to everything that he says, but he does drop some great one-liners, and he does drop some. He has some great quotes, and one of them was something like, "Show me your bank balance and your calendar, and I'll show you something else, your habits or something." And it was basically like, if you don't, there's a saying that's called cash flow follows calendar, which is basically if you look at your cash flow and you look at your calendar, they'll go hand in hand. So your activities lead to your results, and some people just don't put when they're going to do the 10,000 steps in the calendar. They just try and remember. Or they don't put when they're going to go to the gym in the calendar, and then they get busy. I believe that busy is sometimes a feeling that people who are unorganized get. Do you know what I mean? There's a difference, in my opinion, between being busy and a full schedule.
Yeah.
I have a full schedule, doing shit that I like doing, right? And I hate planning. I hate looking at my calendar and it's going bam, bam, bam. But it's better than feeling rushed all the time. It's better than feeling rushed and trying to remember what I said I would do. I think that's a huge deal for people.
Yeah.
Because we make so many promises to ourselves, so many promises to other people, that we don't go out of our way to not do stuff. We just fucking forget. We rely on memory. It's mad, isn't it? And because we're creatures of habit, we never forget to do the things we've always done. Yeah. Does that make sense? If it's something new, we can't rely on memory to do it. Because we're creatures of habit. It's like your brain will take the easy option, which is remember the stuff you've always done. So if it's something new, you can't rely on memory. You have to get it in your schedule. You have to set reminders. You have to have it visual. It's huge, that.
Yeah.
Huge.
You put me onto a sauna. I love it. Absolutely.
I love a sauna, except on a Sunday, because Leslie does the planning.
Right,
and she's obviously, she's like the CEO of the business, really. She's more organised than me. And on a Sunday, I do my next week's plan on a Saturday morning.
Right.
And then Leslie does hers on a Sunday. So my emails just start lighting up. Leslie put this in the sauna. Leslie put this in the sauna. So I hate it. But like you say, mate, visual reminders, planning, organisation kills chaos. And I think most people live lives of chaos. And when they're trying to get in shape, they're adding more stuff onto a plate that's already full. So they're relying on memory, and they're already busy. So something either has to go. Yeah. Something has to go to make room for new stuff.
And it's usually that first, say they've just gotten into physics, it's usually going to be that what gets taken away because that hasn't been in their habits.
Exactly. So scheduling, planning, having a diary is boring.
Yeah.
But the results are not boring.
I like it.
Aye. Do you know you mentioned habits before? Habits are boring as well.
Yeah.
They're so boring. So I've got to make a habit sexy by linking it to something else. Like, so you wouldn't let a client come in and not set a goal.
Yeah.
So the goal isn't really 4 sessions a week. The goal is to look sexy as fuck.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The goal is to have sex with the lights on. The goal is to feel mint around the pool.
The why.
So the habit has to be linked to that, and you have to remind yourself of this goal all of the fucking time. Because, like I say, habit-based goals for me are boring. All boring.
So I get off on them.
Do you?
Like, yeah.
Do you like stacking the numbers up?
I stack. Obviously, Habit Stack James.
Yeah.
Play with Atomic Habits. Like, all of his stuff. Like, I love stacking it with other things.
Yes.
And it's like, oh wait, what else can I add to that one? What can I add to that one? And I do, and I like.
I might just be saying this. It's on my mind at the minute because do you know the Pliability app?
No.
Can you remember Ron Wood?
No.
Can you know? Oh, mate, it's like a mobility thing. you do it. It's like an app where they take you through. You have to do a. This is boring as fuck. Actually, I can't believe I'm talking about this on a podcast. You do like a mobility test, which is like an overhead squat.
Okay.
And it takes all these. You basically it takes all these photos and videos of you moving, and then it says, right, here's your mobility routine. And I'm trying to habit stack that at the minute. I started this morning. Fuck me, I am stiff, Richard.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. But I can link that to what I like about it is you do this mobility test, and then a month later you do it again. So you can see actually whether the habit's making, because I think that sometimes happens with habits. You don't know whether it's making any difference.
How long is this habit taking you each day to implement then?
It's 15 minutes this morning.
Is it?
15 minutes.
That's quite a big commitment.
It is, but my morning routine's got shorter and shorter over the years. Like I'm hitting journaling 5-10 minutes. I'm meditating 12 minutes. I'm hitting an ice bath or a cold shower. Right now it's a cold shower because my ice bath's fucked. And then I'm doing this stretching in between now. It's 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I can link it to, well, I could probably get an extra jiu-jitsu session in a week because I won't be so fucking stiff and sore, and it'll improve me jiu-jitsu.
So you've linked that to that?
Hugely, I don't just want to... Imagine saying to someone, stretch, what for? Because it'll make you feel a bit better.
Yeah.
It's not enough. It's not enough. I want to see a direct impact on me jiu-jitsu, which is the thing that I value highest. So I can either train extra or I'll just get better because I'll be able to not say, oh, I'm too stiff. Because I'm often saying, oh, I'm too old to do that. Yeah. Oh, my body doesn't do that. It doesn't. There's some moves where I'm like, I can't do that. I'm too stiff. I'm not flexible enough. So I can either keep using it as an excuse or fucking do something about it. So I'm going to try and do something about it. We'll see. Aye. But the habit thing is important, mate. If you can't link it to something else, it's almost like a habit for the sake of the habit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, which isn't going to stick.
Like, so I don't like going to the gym. I don't like picking things up and putting them back down again. But I can find a way to like it if I'm like, well, that's going to impact this. Yeah. That's going to either make me look sexy around the pool so people... Do you know what I want? This is weird at my age. Actually, it's not. I want people to just go, he trains. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be the most... I'm not interested in... Well, I wouldn't mind it, but being the most shredded around the pool is one thing, right? But I'm fucking 45 with fucking 2 kids, big business, lots of shit going on, but I just want people to go, he works out. And then I want them cauliflower ears, so I want someone to say he does jiu-jitsu. Stay away from him.
Honestly, you don't want them.
Do I not?
No,
I do. I think they look sick.
Like,
drain them. I've got a little one coming in, but I wouldn't mind looking hard as fuck, like.
No. Honestly, like when because you have to nip your ear and everything. Like,
how did you get that, like?
Through jiu-jitsu, yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Did you? Shit, I don't mind one. I think you look hard as fuck.
No, I fucking don't. I don't like needles now.
Oh, really?
When you had to syringe it out.
Oh, well, I'm on TRT, so I'm used to needles now. Oh. I'm used to, but mate, the training, the lifting, my coach, he's a brown belt and he's figured out how I tick, and he'll tell us exactly why I'm doing an exercise. So I'm like, what the fuck am I doing this trap bar deadlift for? Right. And he'll go, well, it makes you fucking mint at pulling people in. It makes you mint at this. It means you can push them away. It means you can grab them. It means your grip will be, because everything I do has a fucking, none of them fat grips. You know them?
Does he? Right,
everything I do has a fat grip on it. And I'm like, I feel weak. Because you can't,
especially on a deadlift.
On a deadlift, because you at least half your weight down. Yeah. But then I've just stopped looking at the weights. He's like, your grip will be strong as fuck, and when you grab a hold of someone around the neck or you grab a hold of their arm, they will not be able to get you off. And it's fucking working. To be fair, like, my grip feels really strong, but that link is massive, man. Because if you just said go on deadlift, I'll be pick that up and then put it back down. That is the epitome of picking things up and putting it back down. But because he'll just make it really specific, and that sells it to me. Yeah. Know what I mean?
Good.
Yeah. Because you know when people say like weight training, I think the problem is I used to like weight training until I started jiu-jitsu. Yeah. Now I'm just like, well, this is really boring compared to that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's weird how people like, do you know when people love running? Like, I don't particularly like running, but I used to. I went through a period of enjoying running, but then I found jiu-jitsu. Do you know what I mean? I don't even, mate, I used to love boxing. I go back to boxing now and I'm like, this is boring. Which is weird because it's not really, it's fighting. But compared to jiu-jitsu, there's only a few things you can do. It's mad, that, isn't it? It makes
you think.
It really makes you think, aye. But then you haven't got too much time to think, so it's just fucking chaos. It's class.
It's like a fast game of chess.
It's like a fast, violent game of chess where you're rolling around the floor with really tight clothes on with people that are younger than you and sweating all over them. Other than that, it's not gay. Yeah.
Not at all.
That's not.
Fucking hell, we're on to 3, Paul.
We're doing really well, mate.
Yeah, we do. So I'm a strong believer in having purpose.
Yes.
Like, I'm the same as you. I work in a Nissan factory.
Yes.
Knew I needed something more with my life
Yes.
than just making money.
Yes.
Obviously, I had a big mindset shift after something Leslie said. One of our events, like now that I focus on sharing people's stories.
Yes.
Obviously, we call it.
Now, I've noticed you've started doing that, actually.
Yeah, we call it the impact goal.
Yes.
Like, I mean, we have like at least 40 transformations out every quarter.
Yeah.
That's
wild, by the way, that you're getting that many out. It's unreal, that.
Yeah. We only started in September. We've hit it already for that one, and we're well on point for this quarter as well. Like we're pissing it, to be fair.
Yeah.
From a fitness side of things, like how. No, it's in your book. Yeah. So it pulls us away from the money trap as well.
Yes.
In your book, you talk about people stuck in their jobs, family life, etc.
Yes.
Who don't have a good, healthy lifestyle.
Yes.
How can those people find a new purpose, but in health and fitness? And when they do, how much more fulfilled will they be in other areas of their life?
Oh, well, mate, that's a great question. So for me, purpose isn't, there's this whole fallacy like, it's always the thing I was born to do. I think often I'll change. That my purpose will change at some point in my life. I know for a fucking fact it will. As you get older, your values start to shift. As your kids get older, your values start to shift. Things are just always moving. It's like the horizon. So I believe purpose is more of a feeling, like a sense of purpose. You get up and you're moving towards something. And I think when you get lost, because I've been there, that's what happened to me in 2014. It happened to my wife when my kids got a little bit older and she was no longer like full-time mom. Kids were in school. Leslie was the same. So I think purpose is a sense of purpose and you're having something to move towards. And I think when you get lost, it's mainly like for us men, I think what happens is we leave school, we've got a goal of finishing school, maybe going to college. Often we don't even know we have these goals, we're just kind of told to do it. And then you might go to uni, and then you might get a job, and then you might try and get a promotion, and then you get a lass, then you might get married, and then you might have babies, right? Then what? What happens after that? We don't... Not just wait until we retire and then wait to die. Like we lose our sense of purpose. We lose our sense of direction and we go around in circles. We literally go around in circles and we wander through life. So I think the curse of and again, I work mainly with men and I've never been a woman. So I don't know, I can't even describe what it's like. It happened to my wife, but when you wander through life, you just kind of bump into things. You feel like you're getting tossed around. So I think if you want a purpose in your health and fitness, it kind of just starts with setting a goal. And you mentioned the word impact. I think sometimes it has to be about more than you. So I think it's cool as fuck that my kids, especially my son, is into fighting. Like, he loves boxing. The Saturday night with the bare knuckle, it was fucking class. He loves boxing. He loves to be in shape. He loves rugby. And I think part of that comes from the fact that I still train combat sports. Yeah. So I think if you make it about more than you, and again, another reason I love jiu-jitsu is because I'm like, a lot of people think they can fight and they fucking can't. They fucking can't. No. Do you know what I mean? So part of me knows, well, if something goes down here, I'll be alright. If something kicks off here, I'll be alright. I can handle myself. I can restrain people. Part of it is that. But I think when it comes to getting in shape, like I say, I think you've got to make it about A, more than you, but B, again, linking it to something else. Like, being in shape for the sake of being in shape doesn't really work for anybody. It works for fitness people, because it's part of their identity. Do you know what I mean? Like when I see fitness people online saying, it's not about motivation, it's about discipline. But you got to go to the gym even when you're not motivated. I'm like, you don't need motivation to go to the gym. You fucking love it. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't need motivation to do jiu-jitsu. I don't need motivation to come to work because I love my work. So it's easy to say you need discipline, but you only need discipline to do things that you don't fucking like. Do you know what I mean? If I have to do something that I don't like, then I have to link it to something that I do. So I think you've got to make the goal more about getting in shape. You'll ask this, like, why? Why is that even important? Why is being in shape important to you? What else can you link it to? So, for example, if I was a fat life coach, I'm fucked. Who the fuck's listening to a fat life coach? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's part of the thing I can link it to. I'm like, well, okay, if I'm fat, who's going to pay attention to me? If I'm fat, why would clients listen to me? Why would potential clients listen to me? About anything. Yeah. It's weird. But I think that I'm able to make that link, and if you can't make the link, you've got to make it about more than you and about something else. Like, you think about this, your energy's better when you're in shape. How could that impact your job? Your energy's better when you're in shape. Your attitude's better when you're in shape. If someone comes into a job interview here and their energy's dog shit, I'm hiring, first of all, based on that. Yeah. Not if they're fat, I couldn't give a fuck about that. But if their energy's terrible, I can feel their attitude coming off them, Like, we feel that, don't we? So if you can, you've just got to be able to link it to more, and it's got to be more than being in shape. And it's just, well, why? Why does that? Why even bother about being in shape? And if you can't think of a reason, that's why you're going to struggle to create that purpose of being in shape. It's your reasons. You think about motivation. I'm not motivated to get in shape. Well, the word motive is in motivation. Motive means what's in it for me. What's in it for you to be in shape? What are the upsides of being in shape? What are the positives? What are the payoffs? What are the other benefits of being in shape? Because it's not about the number on the scales, really. I don't walk around with me weight around my neck. Do you know what I mean? No one fucking cares what your weight is.
It was our first conversation.
It was. It's funny, you know, man. One of my friends was fighting bare knuckle on Saturday night, and we're talking about him going up in weight categories because he's going down in weight categories because he's fighting monsters. And he said, "Well, this is mad. This he sees bare knuckle boxing as just having a straightener with someone." And he said,
Right.
"What?" He used to be a doorman, and he said, "When I have a straightener with someone, I didn't ask them what weight though." He said, "I don't ask them what weight though, so it doesn't matter." It doesn't matter, but it's got to be more than that. It's got to be more than being shredded. It's got to be about more than abs. And if every single transformation you've done, when you've interviewed them after, it was about more than the weight. And they've gained more than just the scale weight that they wanted to hit. They've gained more. You'll ask them and what impact has had on your life. It'll be fuck all to do with the scales. It'll be, I feel like this.
Yeah. One of the shit things about when I do those though,
Yeah.
is that I always have to ask them how much they've lost.
Yeah, of course.
Because of
the people that are watching it.
Because
the people that are watching it still think it's about that.
And it's shit because that's how you've got what is it? The come for results, the stay for community.
Yes.
And it's exactly that. It's like we have to hook people in with the result, which is shit. And
when you mentioned money, it's the same for me.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah.
You got people that they're full. They've got no more capacity in their life, and they're still talking about making more money. I'm like, bro, you got to get your time back first, man. Yeah. You got to get your motivation back first. That money's great. It's like money gives you options, right? But ultimately, if you've got no time, when the fuck are you going to spend that?
Yeah.
When are you going to spend it? What are you going to spend it on? Because you can't take time off. There's no point in you making that extra money. So it's the same with the weight. You got to find another reason. You got to find that there are other benefits that come with it. And that's probably what you're looking for. Like, people think when they hit that scale weight, they're going to have more confidence. It's not always the case. What they really want is more confidence. They want more energy. And that weight is like a side effect. Yeah. When I don't focus on my weight, I lose more weight.
Do you?
Oh, when I focus on getting to the gym, when I focus on eating just 3 meals a day and no snacks, when I focus on me 4 litres of water, right, the weight just happens. When I focus on the weight all the time, I find it fucking stressful.
Yeah. Well, what we do is we break it down to a daily.
Aye.
As well as like, hit your steps, track your food,
hit
your session,
and that happens.
And that's it.
I've done best with weight loss when I weigh in twice a week rather than every day. 2-3 times a week rather than every day.
I do 2 a week. Yeah.
Aye, and one of them has to be a Monday.
Is it? Wednesday, Saturday?
Is it Wednesday?
Yeah.
Actually, mine might be Wednesday, Saturday as well. I can't remember. My friend Saman helped us with that. I think it might be Wednesday, Saturday, the same. I think so.
I know some people make people wait on a Monday. So
they don't fuck up at the weekend. Aye. But it's such a weird thing, man. The weight's such a weird thing, but no one really wants that. They want the other shit that they think's going to come as a result of that, and it tends to. But yeah, you've got to make it about more than that.
We generally actually, when people do think they've only got £20 to lose, they've actually got 40.
Yeah,
like for the physique,
that's interesting. Yes.
As well.
Yeah.
The amount of people who will say, "Well, I want abs," and I was given, "How much do you think you've got to lose?"
Yeah.
And they say it's £20. You've got 40.
Yeah.
Because they don't realise the work what it takes to get to that level of leanness.
Yeah. I'm not willing to do that.
No.
Actually, you know what? Yeah. I probably am. I probably could have hit that if I probably within like 6 to 8 weeks. I could probably hit that. Yeah. I'm not far away now. It's just whether I'm, like you say, willing to do what it takes. And I think sometimes it's okay to admit you're not willing to do what it takes. Like someone said about the money before, I could make more money, but I'd have to sacrifice other things, and I'm not willing to. I'm like, am I willing to do that? Am I willing to start another program? Am I willing to take on more one-to-one clients? Am I willing to double the price? No, I'm not. I'm okay with making less money so that I don't have to do things that I hate. Do you know what I mean? Like, I get off at speaking gigs, and I'm like, well, that's a fucking $8,000 speaking gig, that. But I have to travel. No.
Well, let's say for that extra then, that extra, say what you would bring in, what would you do with it?
Oh, I can think of loads of things I would do with it. would upgrade to business class. I would upgrade to business class.
Every time.
Every time. Instead of just when I'm on my own.
Yeah.
Kids like, Dad, we'll go business class. I'm like, no, we'll save the business class for when I'm traveling on my own, mate.
Yeah.
But that is it, mate. It is, sometimes it's okay to admit you're not willing to do the work.
Well, exactly. So like all of that sacrifice, just for that few holidays a year where you sit on comfier seats.
Aye, that's it. Aye.
Do you know what I mean? It's not.
I think it's sometimes really the same. It's sometimes the same with getting in shape. Like that's the first thing we talked about when I came in, that I wasn't willing to do a water cut.
I was calling you fat. Sorry.
but like I was like right, I could compete in the next weight class down, but am I willing to? I had an event as well last week.
Yeah.
So I was like, am I willing to drink 8 litres of water and be pissing every 5 minutes at my own event? No, I'm not. Am I willing to go to Milan with my son for footy and diet? No, I'm not, because they have pistachio croissants there and they have fucking unbelievable pizza. So no, I'm not. And I think that's okay sometimes.
Yeah.
It's because that's got to be better than trying to convince yourself that you're going to do it, not doing it, and then hating yourself. I think that happens quite a lot as well. So I look at, am I willing to do this? Yes or no? And I think it's okay to say no.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to lie to yourself again, lying, and then your self-worth goes down a little bit more. So it comes back to doing what you said you would. See, I think you got to be careful about what you say you're going to do. Really consider it. Like, does this fit into my life right now? No, doesn't. But does that mean I'm just going to eat shit and do nothing? No, it doesn't. It just means I'm not willing to go the fucking extra mile.
Yeah.
And I think that's an admission that you know yourself. That's kind of discovering about yourself, what you're not willing to do. I think that's a big breakthrough for a lot of people when they get to that point. Yeah, I'm not willing to be out of shape, but also I'm not willing to fucking sacrifice my entire life just to be in shape.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things we will do with clients actually is like, let's say they haven't tracked, they haven't been hitting the steps,
yes.
blah blah blah.
What can you do?
Well, it comes to a point of we say to them like, look, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. That's absolutely cool. Are you enjoying the sessions?
Yes.
Yes, I love them. Let's just focus on that.
Yeah.
And that's
it. Perfect. I think I do that in business as well. I mean, listen, if you hate making videos, right, and you think you have to, you don't. There are people that make a lot of money who've never made a single video for social media.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There are people that have never written a fucking single email. Part of it has to be, I don't think you can create a life that you absolutely love constantly doing shit that you loathe.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You'll know this. There's no happy ending to an unhappy journey. You said it before, I'm never getting that fucking shredded again.
Yep. Done.
Because it's horrible. It's horrible.
I don't need to.
Nah. You're in shape.
Yeah.
You're in shape. The next level of shreddedness. Here's what you've kind of discovered. There's nothing in it for you anymore. Yeah. But that doesn't mean you're not in shape.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Not being shredded doesn't mean you're not in shape.
I'm comfortable. And I'm like, I know there's people
because you're not going to go. You're not going to get fat, are you?
I'm not going to get fat. And that might I'm 40.
Yeah.
Obviously talking to the younger lads in the gym, like about growing muscle, and it's like I'm probably not going to grow any more muscle, no matter how much I go for it, unless I'm willing to like massively bulk or anything like that. So for me, I'm just sort of comfortable. And it's like, well, why do you do it? Oh, it was Jake yesterday, my son. He's me, why do you do it? And it's like, well, just to maintain.
Yeah.
That's it. It says I've still got to do these 4 days a week just to maintain what it is, but I love it.
Yeah, and that some people would struggle with the idea of maintenance. I would.
I
would really struggle with the idea of maintenance. But that's when I think loving the exercise matters. Do you know what I mean? Loving the exercise matters. So if I was maintaining lifting, but you're probably not maintaining, your lifts are probably going up. Your rep range might be going up.
I still compare myself to when I could fucking...
Oh, dear.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like,
but your lifts might be going up week on week compared to that. But I think that you're not... At some level, you're probably not maintaining. There's probably some level of...
It's micro.
That's what I mean.
It's probably, for me, at this level, I'm probably 1 kilo of muscle a year.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I'm absolutely fine with that.
Yeah. And I'm like that in jiu-jitsu. Sometimes progress is not getting submitted.
Yeah.
Or getting submitted one time
less. Like
way
your
longer.
do you know what I mean?
And I've been in and out for fucking since 2018 probably.
Yeah.
Them 2 fucking injuries, the 2 pec injuries. Then I tore my hamstring. And I think that your measurement of progress has to be different sometimes. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to go in and say, well, I didn't submit that purple belt, so I'm shite. I'm going to be like, fucking hell. I turned, like you say, sometimes turning up's the win, man.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean? Sometimes turning up's the win. You say that to people, just getting into the gym is often, for some people, the hardest part.
Yep.
It's just getting in the gym. And I think that people's And that's just another comparison frame again. Comparing every session to your best session.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? In jiu-jitsu, it fucks with you so much that. Because you'll go in one week and you're like, fucking hell, I dominated him. Then the next day you can go in and he fucking fold you in half. It's such a
That's payback from them, though.
It is like such a humbling experience that fucks with your ego so much. It's mental. It's mental. Aye, wild.
Nice. You've obviously dropped some body weight
Yes.
lately. Yeah.
Yes.
Abs on display in the event in September.
Yes.
When you're locked in on your own health and fitness
Yes.
goals, how much more productive are you in life? Like, because I say this with our clients, so when they commit to a dieting phase, like a photo shoot,
Yes.
they become hyper-focused on everything else.
Yeah.
Despite the extra time, what's needed for steps, meal preps a lot.
Yes.
They feel so much more focused in their life
Yeah.
when they're nailed in on the diet.
It's because you got to be organised.
Yeah.
You got to be organised. You can't just rely on memory anymore. Think about all of those people that got in shape. They've meal prepped. They've chosen a time that they're going to get the steps in, not just relied on, fucking hell, I better get up and move around a bit. They've chosen a time and they've booked a session with you. That all they've done is get organised, and that has to pass over in the rest of your life. It has to. You're organising your training and that around your life. You're organising your meal prep around your life, which means that by default, everything else has to become tighter. So it's like the first time I went on a holiday without my phone, it made me mega productive that week, but it also made me focus on, well, if I'm going to be away, I have to be organised. Things have to happen while I'm not there. It's the same with that. All that happens is it bleeds into that level of organisation and prep, that level of prioritisation, that level of scheduling just bleeds in every other area of your life. And then you've got obviously the energy boost and you're eating better, so you feel better. Like all of that just goes hand in hand. And then the meal prep and that goes out the window, and then everything else goes with it.
So do you think when you're on it, do you think that helps you be more productive through your
100%,
businesses?
100%. I mean, I'm pretty productive anyway, because I think part of being productive is not doing shit that you hate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I hate saying this because it makes it sound like I never have to do anything that I don't like, because I do have to do things that I don't like. But ultimately, I build my plans. I build me step-by-step guides to hit the goal that I want. I don't want too many things in there that I fucking can't stand. What's the point in that?
When you can delegate.
When you can delegate, or you can just delete it. Sometimes I'm like, do you know what? No one else can do that. I don't like doing it. Am I willing to not get the results that I would get if I did that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And yes, I am. I'll find another way. I'll not find again, getting shredded for me, for most people, I know that weightlifting is the best way to get shredded, but I'm not willing to do 4 a week. Yeah. But I am willing to train jiu-jitsu 4 times, so I might not get the best results, but I still get a good result.
With jiu-jitsu still a form of resistance
Fucking hell, are you lifting a man?
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Are you bench pressing a man?
Yeah. It's brilliant.
You're deadlifting a man.
Exactly.
So it's very similar, and I think that's why I've been able to maintain muscle only lifting twice a week. And I only lift for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Is that all your guys are doing, 30 minutes?
Hours.
For
1 hour sessions.
Oh, for 1 hour sessions. Shit.
It's probably like with a warm-up and the full session, 50 minutes.
Yeah.
But that's age range from, 20 to 68, something like that, around those age ranges. Yeah. But they love it. Yeah.
I think, mate, like you say, that the level of prep required to do that does bleed over into every area of your life. Because you're like, well, I can't just, if I want to get in shape, I can't just fit it in. You can't just fit it in. You have to make it a priority. And then that makes you reassess your entire range of priorities. That's what I have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I say when clients actually fall off the wagon, they end up falling off in other areas of their life as well.
Chronically disorganized, unprepared, rushed. And then they blame time, but they can't tell you where it's gone. You know what I mean? They can't show you where it's going because they've got no plan, and they can't show you where it's gone because they've had no plan.
I'm busy,
and they blame busy.
Yeah,
it's busy's a feeling.
Yeah,
I would feel busy if I was rushing around everywhere because I didn't know where I was meant to be at what time as well.
Nah, I do like it because even it's mad because they're in such a calorie. I'm even talking specifically for our photo shoot guys as well, and they're in such a calorie deficit and they're hitting so many steps where they're having to like actually really do loads of walking.
Yeah.
But then they become better in the jobs.
Yeah.
It's fucking mad.
Yeah. It's interesting because the walking thing, I haven't been doing as much this year. But what I realised, I got banned from driving a couple of years ago, so I had to do 6 months where I didn't have a car. And and actually walking to work, people were like, hey, how have you got time to do that? I'm like, well, it just means I need to be more organised because I can't just nip in the car and go home. It's 30 minutes here, 30 minutes back. That's 8,000 steps for me.
Yeah.
Like, that's all it is. But if I want to do it, I've got to be organised because I can't be late. I can't just jump in the car and nip somewhere. My bag has to be packed with everything I need in it for the day. My bag has to be packed for everything I need for the gym after I finish work.
Yeah.
And I have to be here to sit. So that was a game changer for me, actually. Yeah, that's all it is. All I do, need to get an extra 8,000 steps a day, is be a little bit more organised, and that only takes an hour. And I can't just go out for a walk. Mine has to be to somewhere or from somewhere. Like yesterday, because I competed on Saturday, I was like, shit, I did this wrong. I was desperate to train jiu-jitsu yesterday, and Leslie was like, you're not training jiu-jitsu, you're absolutely fucked. You had 3 6-minute matches yesterday. Like, you're fucked. Relax. So I was like, well, I have to do something, active recovery. And she was like, well, go out for a walk. And I'm like, where to? So she went to rugby yesterday. Max had a game of rugby, and I walked back. Yeah. I was like, I either have to walk from somewhere to somewhere, or I can't make it work. Isn't that weird?
Yeah. No, I that's what I tell clients.
Is it?
Like, somebody I've set a goal at the minute of just a 30-minute walk a day.
Yeah.
And it's like I says, but you need a destination.
Yeah.
That might just be to the shop to pick tonight's tea up.
We used to do that all the time. We've got Tesco that's about 15 minutes away. Yeah. And me and Nina, I'll just go and walk to Tesco.
Yeah.
To get the one chocolate bar because I can't have a full packet in the house.
Yeah.
If I have a full packet, it's going the journey. So sometimes I go, let's go and get that Whisper.
Would you ever you do 3 Zooms a week?
Yes.
Would you ever do one on a walking pad yourself to get your steps in? Because you're sometimes on there, an hour and a half?
Fucking hell, aye.
2 hours sometimes.
Sometimes I. Sometimes I would do that, very rarely. Because I think.
So you have?
Oh, I have. Done it, right? I have done it before.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But I think from the client's point of view, I'd be like, this guy's not. He's not in the game with me. He's doing something else. Like, we'd never do a sales call with someone that was doing something else at the same time. I do. True. Funny enough, though, I do one-to-one calls while I'm walking.
Yes, yeah.
It feels a bit different for me.
Yeah, everyone. I've always been taught to stand up.
Yes.
On a,
yeah.
Call.
Funny enough, I do that on a webinar as well. I'll stand up, but sometimes on those Zoom calls, they need to show me something, or I might need to jump into me screen. Yeah. You know, like when I share the screen, I couldn't do that on the phone. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But mate, I think that whole thing about instead of squeezing it in, kind of go somewhere, walk back somewhere, it just makes the whole thing easier.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, I have to go for a walk. It's like, well, I have to get to the office, or I have to get to work, or I have to get to my mum's house, or I have to get home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have to get home. It's weird. It's still a big commitment, but it feels smaller. So I'm just like, I'm just going home. So where I find the Great North Run's a half marathon. I've done it 3 times with no training and no running, but I found it fairly easy. Mentally, obviously it hurt physically, but I was just like, well, I'm just running home. Because my house is at the finish line. My house is at the finish line. I'm just like, well, literally at the finish line is my house. So I'm just like, I've got to get home.
Yeah.
So, isn't that weird mentally? Destination. Jeez, yeah. It's not like a lot of people, they've got to fucking run home and then get on the metro with fucking 100,000 other people.
They've got miles to get.
They've got to figure out how to get home. So I'm just, I'm going home. I've got to get home anyway, so I may as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a weird mindset, that, isn't it?
We get with back to the habit stacking and stuff like that. Like, say somebody's come to the gym, I'll say, can you walk to the gym?
Yeah.
And can you walk back? Like, if it's a 20-minute walk there and back, fit your life around
that's
that.
That's 7,000-8,000 steps, that.
Yeah. And it's all done.
It is done. Rather than trying to force yourself to go out for a walk, I think it's a big deal, that.
Especially this weather, like the northeast, it's just fucking.
It's naughty. Yeah, it's naughty. Part of me likes that sometimes, you know. Do you know when it's dark outside and it's raining and that? I'm like, this is where most people wouldn't go.
Yeah.
So I get this elitist attitude. Where I'm like, this is where I get this elitist. Well, most people wouldn't do this.
Yeah.
Most people wouldn't do that. Like, that's just a fucking elitist attitude. Yeah.
Or you like creeping about.
Well, I do wear a Mac and no underpants.
Yeah. Right then. So a couple more. You always talk about the importance of wolf pack.
Yes.
What's the best way to connect with people who are ahead of you in life? Ooh. This is from Matty here.
That's a great question. You either have to pay with money or pay in sweat, effort. So for me, I mean, fucking hell, my peer group is legit. Like, so the publisher of my new book said, have you got any people that like to send it to? And we started making a list of all the people that I know who are big followings or who are influential. And even the team are going, how the fuck do you know him? I'm like, I don't know. How the fuck are you mates with Russell Kane? I'm like, I don't fucking know, you know. I don't know how are you mates with fucking Ant Middleton and that? I don't really know. But then I do know I made an effort to either go to events, go to shows, join programs with money. Sending DMs is too easy. Do you know what I mean? Or I've asked them.
Lost as
it's
well,
just, they get lost, especially you think about this, the people that you're trying to connect with are further ahead than you. I mean, just us, we get endless DMs from people.
Yeah.
You do as well. So you got to think about someone with a bigger profile that's further ahead of you. Probably get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times as many DMs as you get. Do you know what I mean? When I get someone say, hey, Paul, can you connect with you, James Smith? I'm like, fucking good luck with that. Do you know what I mean? Like, good luck with it. No, I can't connect you with him. And if you DM him, I guarantee you get lost.
Yeah.
But, like, so you've got to pay in either sweat, i.e. effort, and a DM is not effort. It's go to an event, go to a show, stand in a queue to get your book signed, and make a connection there, and then send a DM, take a photo. I've cal friend called Carl Eleanor. He owns a gym in Sunderland. Cal Pacino, you might know who he is.
Yes.
Cal's a fucking G. I love.
I don't know him personally.
He cornered me in one of my matches at the weekend. He's class. I love Carl, and he is an amazing networker for a jiu-jitsu guy. So he wants to get on the show called Polaris,
right?
And it's the biggest jiu-jitsu event in Europe, and it's on TV and shit like that, right? It's a big show, and Carl, rather than sending DMs like every other jiu-jitsu athlete does, because everyone wants to be on that, he'll like make a point of traveling to fucking Bournemouth, right, and meeting everybody, taking a photo with everyone, taking a photo, and he'll take a photo with every athlete, because now you're thinking, well, now the organisers are going to be like, who the fuck's this guy who's got a photo with all the fighters that we're friends with already? So sometimes you've just got to make, and that's effort. That's not a DM, that's effort. He's paid for a ticket instead of trying to get him for free. Do you know, he's paid for a ticket, and you're more likely to do business with people who've done business with you. I get a lot of requests. There was a guy the other week. In fact, if he's listening, I hope he is listening, because this is a business. He said, hey, Paul, I've just started up as a coach, and I'm doing this life coaching for men and that. I'd love to be on your podcast. And I'm like, I fucking bet you would. And then, also, do you need anyone to open for you on your theatre tour? I'm like, mate, think about this for a second. You do what I do, but even if you didn't, I'm like, I don't know you.
Yeah.
Like, join me programming, you've got a fucking head start. You've got a head start, because now I'm going to recognize your name. Now I'm going to be like, this guy's fucking serious. And it's not about the money. It's about the skin in the game, or the effort level. Come to one of my events. You've never been to one of my events. You've never been to anything. You've just DM'd me trying to get something instead of giving. So giving is so I could go, you give sweat. Sometimes you have to give money. Like, if people think I got Tyson Fury on my podcast for free, they're fucking mental. That doesn't happen. That's why he's never been on Stephen Bartlett. Stephen Bartlett wouldn't pay him.
Yeah.
I was willing to pay, because I'm like, well, that's a fucking big deal. And once I had him on, I never paid anyone else.
Yeah.
Because you just name drop. So part of it, so one is paying blood. So not
blood.
Yes, I
might as well. Yeah.
It's because I'm saying sweat.
Yeah.
So you're paying money. So and you're paying effort and sweat. Like, that's what I had to do, and that's it. Effort or sweat, and DMing is not enough.
I think people don't ever realise the working for free mentality to get experience.
Aye.
Like, we've had it, honestly, many times where people have texted my phone, right? Have you got any jobs? And then emojis, or like smiley face, and like, fucking, you sending us emojis for a job? Like, what do you do? And then he sent us like, this is a different person, sent us another one with another emoji that says you've done it again. Yeah. Like, fucking people just think that
come to the gym.
Wise that can
make yourself. You got to make yourself known.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to make yourself known, and sometimes that'll be with effort, and sometimes it'll be with putting skin in the game. Like, so I wanted to. I can't even remember what happened here. I remember I bought 10 tickets to a Russell Kane show. I mentioned Gary Vee at the start. I got on Gary Vee's podcast because I bought 100 copies of his book.
Right.
Hey Gary, here's a receipt. I just bought 100 copies of your book.
I didn't know you were on his podcast.
No, he came on mine. 2014. Aye.
Oh yes.
I actually can't remember the conversation.
Honestly,
I can't remember the conversation. I just know I had him on. But I remember I bought 100 copies of his book. And do you think someone's going to sit up and pay attention to someone that's bought 100 copies of his book?
Yeah, exactly.
Or do you think he's going to pay attention to someone that sent him a DM along with thousands of other people?
Which book was it? Thank You Economy.
No. Jab, right hook, aye. Yeah. I don't even believe in that concept, but but yeah, it's and again, it's not always about the money. Go to an event, meet him, stand in a fucking queue.
But that's his philosophy as well. He does exactly the same.
I met Ollie Alderton. Ollie's a good mate of mine now. He gave me amazing quotes from my book, right? Ollie's a good mate of mine. And I met him because I wanted one of his events.
Yeah.
I went to one of his events and I'm like, you're not going to forget me. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to make myself memorable. I'm going to ask great questions. I tell him I love his work, and now he's my mate.
Yeah. I do the same. When I'm in rooms of people, I just go around asking question.
Or give.
Yeah.
Give, do you know what I mean? Show interest, be interested rather than trying to be interesting. But that whole having people that are a little bit further ahead than you is a cheat code. Like, you think about this, my book publisher, I'm not a guy who you'd want to publish. Here's why, right? Here's why.
Right.
So I wanted a hardback book deal and it was very hard because I haven't got a big following.
Yeah.
I haven't. You think about this.
In the grand scheme of
things, I'm a risk. You think about this, a book publisher has to pay the author, pay an editor, pay a PR company, and pay to get fucking hundreds or thousands of books printed.
Yeah.
They're not guaranteed sales. If you've got a big following, they're guaranteed sales.
Yeah.
So I was a risk. But part of the reason they went with me was because I can have quotes from Chris Ramsey on the front. I can have quotes from James Smith on the front, Ollie Ollerton on the front, Paul Lima, Russell Kane. I can have all these guys share them. Like this week, all these fucking people in my network, Vicky Patterson, Ant Middleton, people like that, they will all share my book this week. If I didn't have that network, I'm less likely to make that happen. Like, they were like, Paul, you got any quotes from celebrities? And I started sending them. They're like, fucking hell, they're on the front cover. There's one from Smith on the front cover. Everyone else is on the inside. So that network thing is so important. Like, you can never underestimate that.
Yep.
Who Not How?
Yeah.
Who Not How is one of the greatest books I've ever read. Who Not How? Instead of asking, how can I do that? You're asking, who can help me? It's the first thing I did when I got a book deal, my first one. Who can help me get this book deal? And then Smith's agent came towards me, said, Paul, shall we get a proper book done? And now he's my mate as well. It just happens.
I've recommended your first book to loads of people, actually.
The very first one.
Paul Mort Saves My Life.
Oh, well, that's not my first one. Second book. Because I self-published first.
Yes.
And the Paul Mort Will Save Your Life one. Again, here's the thing with that, about being a risk. That was audio only.
Yeah.
There's no book printed. There was no costs. There was no hardback. There was no going in fucking Waterstones and WH Smith. There was no risk. Because again, why? A lot of people, Paul, how'd you get your book published? I'm like, mate, don't. For where you're at, I wouldn't even bother trying. Self-publish.
Yeah.
Self-publish, get your name out there, grow your profile, and then say, I've sold this many books, and you've got something for the publisher to work with. Because in personal development, even fitness, if you haven't got a huge following, you got fucking no chance of getting a book published. You haven't. In fitness, in personal development, unless you're a doctor, right, which adds credibility straight away, or you have a massive following, you got no chance of getting a book published.
Not these days.
No chances to. Mate, this is how much it blew me head off. I went into Waterstones and I was like, they've only got one company book here. It's all over the country, which I love. But then I looked at where it was. So I went in and it's a real buzz, and I was scared in case it wasn't in at all. Where's me book in Waterstones? This is my ultimate goal, right? This is a bucket list goal for me. Where's me book? And I went in and I couldn't find it. I was like, oh, fuck, I fucked this. I did a video and everything saying, hey, guys, I'm on my way to Waters. And I couldn't find it. And then I saw it on its own. And it was on a shelf called This Month's New Releases, right?
Right.
There was fucking hundreds.
What was it?
And then I read this week, there's something like 1 million books published every year. 1 million books.
Wow.
That's how hard it is to get a book published. People have no fucking idea. Hey, Paul, can you hook me up with your agent? I'm like, mate, Paul, can you hook me up with your book? No, it's not going to happen. I found it really hard. And the only reason I got it really was not because of me following. Not even because, my book's fucking class. I'm very proud of it. But it's not earth-shattering information I'm giving away. It's in a way that people can digest, people can take action on. It's got stories attached to it, so it has meaning. It's engaging as fuck. It's easy as fuck to read. But I'm not dropping earth-shattering news, and the reason I was able to make it happen was because of who I know.
Yeah.
I would never have got in the door, ever.
It's actually set out well. The mind vitamin.
Yeah, mind vitamin, questions at the end.
Yeah,
you can read a section a day. That's how I want it to look. But it's not even about the book. I could have wrote a book. I probably couldn't have. But I could have wrote that book and it could have gone nowhere. The only reason it got where it wanted to was because of my network. Because I know people that are further ahead than me.
But
how do you even get in the door?
Yeah, but your ferocity? What's the word? Your work ethic will have pushed it.
The word is... we're talking about consistency, persistence. Persistence. Yeah. I'm fucking relentless. Yeah. I am relentless.
That's the word. Yeah,
I am relentless.
You are.
I'm relentless at I wouldn't say everything that I do, but something that I want. I'm relentless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like how many. I'm not even on your email list.
Yeah.
But I can imagine how many emails you've sent about it, even if it's subtle.
Oh, about me book.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
I've sent a lot. I've sent a lot. I've sent a lot. Funny enough, you say that. There was a guy on Thursday, we had an event here, and there was a guy been on my email list for 13 years.
Wow.
That shows you how important it is to follow up.
Yeah.
I've sent 5 emails a week since 2012.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only been doing what I've been doing now since probably 2016. But that's a lot of emails. And he's followed the whole journey and he finally joined. I was like, fucking hell, mate.
Exactly.
PT as well, actually.
Yeah. If you think of the years I've known,
I know,
like
it's mad.
It's only been last September.
It's mad, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean? I bought the books and that.
But mate, you'll have people like that. You'll have people like that have followed you for years and eventually joined the gym.
See, mate, we got people on our email list, 5-6 years plus, and they'll say, I've been reading your emails 5 years and I'm ready.
Yeah.
It's like, fucking
it's wild, isn't it?
Because you think back to, shit, what have I said in some of my emails back then and like now and stuff like that.
Cut out bread. Don't you be eating bread.
Yeah. but you do. It's like you think back and it's like, shit, you've been reading all of them since then.
Well, that's why when people say, oh, Paul, I read your first book, I'm like, oh, fucking hell. Because I don't do a lot of them stuff anymore. Back in that first book, 2019, I'd tell people what to do in the morning routine. Now I'm like, I'll give you your own. The only thing it needs to be in is think about something for your mind. Journaling's the best thing, and some kind of movement. I don't give a fuck what it is. Back then, I was like, you need to do X, Y, Z, and it was like people couldn't follow it. Prescribing, that's exactly it. Yeah, great. That's a great way to put it. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm almost disappointed that they've read that last book because I'm like, there's a lot of that stuff in there that I don't do anymore.
Yeah, and it's there forever.
It's there forever, but it is what it is. We grow, don't we?
Exactly.
We grow.
Last one. What are the biggest mistakes people make when setting goals?
Oh, that's a great question. I think to set goals that are realistic. That sounds weird. That sounds weird to say that because of the smart goal setting thing. But realistic is like a code for boring. Mm-hmm. Do you know? It's a code for boring. Here's what I think. Unrealistic goals. I mean, with your body, I think you've got to be a little bit more realistic because your body can only do so much. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But I think an unrealistic goal, a goal that's scary, exciting, and impactful. So if it's boring, you think you can already do it, and it's only about you, I think you're fucked. Do you know what I mean? If it's only about you, you're used to giving up on yourself. You're used to letting yourself down. If it's boring, you probably won't do it. If it is, what was the other one? Scary, boring, and seems too easy, you probably won't do it. The goals that we don't hit are not because they're too hard, it's because they're too boring. So I think that if you get that wrong, you're fucked. I think realistic goals are boring. What I like is an unrealistic goal with a realistic plan. Because I set an unrealistic goals all the time, but I'm like, okay, well, looking at my life, can I fit this work in? Can I fit all of that in? So at the minute, I'm like, I'd love to do the fucking National 3 Peaks. There's loads of things that I'd love to do fitness-wise. I'd love to have a fight on Misfits. I got offered one last year with Arj Oftawi. I was fucking desperate, but I was like, I had too many injuries. So now I'm just like, I'm going to bin all those other goals off for now and just focus on this one because looking at my life, looking at my schedule, I can't fit anything else in. So I think that an unrealistic goal, but the plan has to be realistic and you can't fill it full of shit that you hate. That's it. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
And when you got us thinking there, it's actually like from a fitness side of things. So a client say can come to us, I want to lose 20 pounds.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just boring as fuck. Do you know what I mean?
It is.
But that same client, like from our photo shoot standpoint of view, it's like, well, I'm going to boot you in for a photo shoot. It's going to be this amount, this amount, this amount, this amount.
And that feels unrealistic.
Yeah, but the goal for it.
Yeah.
The goal for that more than just the £20. So it's like, even though it's the same goal, it's setting a bigger goal because...
Yeah, it is.
Well, I suppose you've got to get your kit off in front of somebody.
Yeah.
Don't you? Well, you do, yeah. So it's like...
Do you know, I think the biggest mistake you'll make with goal setting in any area of life is not having any.
Yeah.
Not having any. And then your goal just becomes to make it a Friday. I think that's the biggest mistake you can make with goal setting is not having any. I think you can change the word goal for mission, outcome, targets, something to aim towards. You can even change the name of goal to purpose. But I think sometimes there's loads of things that I think need a new name, and goals is one of them. Goals is one of them. Journaling's one of them. Meditation's one of them. There's loads of things that I just think need a different name because they're being bastardized a little bit. And goals, you think about goals on its own, boring.
Yeah.
But if suddenly that's a mission, or a target, or an outcome, or purpose, that feels different.
Yeah. I like that on purpose.
Yeah.
Definitely. Where do we find you? Let's go.
I tell you what, I'm on a mission.
Don't say South Shields.
No, Amazon. Amazon, type in Paul Mort. Audible, type in Paul Mort. Otherwise I get in trouble with me publisher and they won't give me another book deal.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.